Become a patron at www.patreon.com/Golden Era Bookworm for hard to find books, scans of rare photos, and articles on the golden era of bodybuilding.
Hi everybody, Golden Era Bookworm here. I've received today another package, and I know it's a very special package from my friend Jeff from the United States, and he has sent some really awesome Arnold covers. He actually has a Facebook page on Arnold covers. His name is Jeff Linton, and thank you so much, Jeff. I'm really looking forward to these because as many of you know, I've got a very extensive collection, but my collection is far from complete, and some issues that I have are very old and not very good. And so he was very kind enough to send some of the best Arnold covers in history, really. For example, here we have the original Mr. America from March, I believe it's 1971, if I'm not mistaken, or 72. I'm not exactly sure. I keep forgetting. But that is a beautiful, beautiful cover of Arnold at his prime. Here's a Mr. America cover. It's a very famous shot of Arnold with this gorgeous girl, of course, on his shoulders. You know, I mean, Mr. America really back then was kind of like a lifestyle magazine, you could call it. It took over after Your Physique, where Your Physique was the original Weider mag, and Muscle Power took over to become the hardcore bodybuilding magazine back then. And Mr. America also was born during that time. So you had Your Physique, and from there it forked out to Muscle Power, which became Muscle Builder, and then Mr. America. So Muscle Power / Muscle Builder became the hardcore bodybuilding magazine for Weider, whereas Mr. America became more about lifestyle. So you can see the titles here, you know, exercises that create the sexual man, energize your body, how to style your hair. So it's more about health, fitness, and lifestyle in general, whereas Muscle Builder became, as I mentioned, the hardcore magazine, hardcore bodybuilding magazine. Wonderful cover of Arnold. Here's another great wonderful, you know, don't find any better words. I mean, damn, these covers are beautiful. Wonderful cover from Arnold again, this time from Health and Strength magazine, May 1969. I don't have this one yet. It's a great cover of Arnold, I believe, after he won the universe, if I'm not mistaken. She is Sylvia Hibbert, Sylvia Hibbert, Miss Universe, standing with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mr. Universe. And for those history buffs, this was the only cover that Arnold ever appeared on Strength and Health magazine because of his attachment to Joe Weider. Now at the time, this being the early 1969, a lot of people may not understand that at this point, Arnold had just arrived to America. And interestingly, he had apparently contacted Bob Hoffman prior to Joe Weider. And I forget why. I've read the story before, but again, I read so many things that I eventually forget sometimes. But basically, one of the first, for example, American magazines where Arnold appeared on was Muscular Development, right? And this was, I think, before he appeared on Muscle Builder, which is Joe Weider's magazine. So Hoffman actually had the chance to acquire Arnold to be part of the York Empire, and he didn't take the advantage. I mean, he didn't take that possibility, which Weider obviously saw the potential in Arnold. And this is a very important part of history, because Hoffman at this point was putting Arnold on his covers on Muscular Development and Strength and Health. But after Weider, of course, you know, had Arnold as his protege, well, you know, the rest is history, right? And speaking of that, of course, it's funny that I just mentioned that because just prior to that, Weider had, of course, this cover of Arnold. Now, just pause for a moment and just understand the significance of this cover. If you do not understand what you're looking at, well, I'm going to tell you. This is the cover that shocked and rocked the bodybuilding world. Imagine being in the 1960s, 1968 to be precise, and you see this on the cover. I mean, can you just imagine the ripples and waves that this cover did or created around the world in the late 60s? This cover changed bodybuilding history. It introduced and brought in Arnold Schwarzenegger from Europe to the to the United States and announced the coming, the rising of the new king, of the new rule, the new phenomenon of bodybuilding. This is the cover that changed bodybuilding world forever, because it announced Arnold, his arrival. And yeah, I mean, he was going to dominate, and didn't he? I mean, people saw this and they were just flabbergasted. Wow, people saw this. Look at the chest, look at those arms. Boom, wow. I mean, this is the cover that rocked bodybuilding history. It's one of the most significant covers of all time. I mean, we were seeing smaller physiques, still very aesthetic, but I mean, this is the cover that changed bodybuilding history. This is the first cover that Joe Weider had of Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I mean, you can't make more of a statement than this incredible side chest pose of Arnold Schwarzenegger. Unbelievable. It's just, yeah. People, every time people talk about this cover, it's the one thing that they say, especially people from back then. And I know a lot of people comment on my channel, and you will see comments as I upload this video of people saying, I remember this cover. Everyone remembers this cover. Everyone that lived through that time remembers this cover, because it was just such a huge impact in the bodybuilding world. Never had anyone seen so much mass on a human being as Arnold Schwarzenegger. This cover changed bodybuilding history forever. It's incredible. Excuse my enthusiasm, but I think it's one of the greatest covers in bodybuilding history, regardless of what Arnold did. You know, we all know what he did, how he got to this position, to this status. But I mean, it's the significance of this cover that is so incredible. That's why it is probably one of my favorite. It's definitely my favorite Arnold cover, and it's one of my favorite covers of all time. Now, speaking of fantastic covers, this is probably one of the second best Arnold covers in history. I mean, let's put those together. I'll tell you about actually another story about these covers in a second. But here's another fantastic cover from Arnold with Franco. I mean, golden era. Here it is. Boom, you know, announcing the golden era. Yeah, it's just a celebration of the physiques back then. You know, that's what I love about the covers back then. Do you see grimacing faces? Do you see, you know, all these veins popping out and them growling and acting like animals and whatever? No! They're smiling. They're at the beach. The sun is hitting their bodies. They have this beautiful non-fake tan, a real tan. You know, it's all about the lifestyle. It's all about the promise of fame. It's the promise of fortune, fame, women, beach, great life. It's a dream, and that's what these these muscle mags sing to you. They promise you this dream back then. You can be like Arnold, you can be like Franco, you can be like Frank Zane, Sergio Oliva, Serge Nubret, Dave Draper, all of them. You can be on the beach with all these muscles and all these wonderful girls around you and have it all. I mean, that's what the dream was back then, and it was sold like this on these covers. And man, they still resonate that same dream right now. I mean, it's just beautiful. I love these covers. I love them. I love them. I love them. Yeah. Yeah. All right. What was the story I was going to tell you about these covers is that, well, it also goes back to why I got these covers from Jeff, why I got these mags, because I have actually these already, but they're really tattered. But believe it or not, I took these covers when I went to meet Arnold Schwarzenegger back in Australia, yeah, about 5-6 years ago. I actually went with my wife. We were in the audience in a special that he had in a show, and I grabbed my muscle mags during one of the breaks, and I yelled out to Arnold, "Hey Arnold, I've got your mags!" You know, to see if he could sign them. But all he said, he looked at me and he said, "Yeah, very nice." And that's it. I couldn't get them autographed, so I was kind of sat down. I was like, oh crap. you know. Kind of felt bummed out that Arnold wouldn't autograph my magazines. But yeah, I mean, they were they are in tatters, but you know what? They're worth a lot to me because they were in the presence of Arnold, you know. Even if Arnold rejected my wish to have them autographed, they were still in his presence. But these are in pristine condition, which is why I got them from Jeff. Anyway, I know I'm raving on. This is a cover from February 1972 when muscle power became muscle builder power, as you can see on the covers here, both of them. Yeah, wonderful. Now here is another epic cover of Arnold when he went to meet Reg Park in South Africa. That's right, when he went to meet Reg Park, because Reg Park promised him when Arnold had just competed in the 1966 Mr. Universe and lost, that if he won the universe, which he did of course later on, that he could go, that Reg Park promised to meet with him if he won the universe. Of course, Arnold went to win the universe, and Reg Park was loyal to his word, was true to his word, and Arnold went to meet him. As you can see, he's smiling and grinning from ear to ear with his hero, Reg Park in South Africa. And of course, John Park has told me many stories about this. You can see Arnold's calves are still very small back then. His legs are not as well developed. He was all upper body back then and not as well developed. I mean, he had mass, especially in his thighs, but not necessarily great calves. And Reg Park, you know, John Park's told me the story that Reg Park, you know, taught him about, you know, using 1,000 pounds on the calf raise, right, and things like that. And so, yeah, Reg Park went through all his secrets with him, and John Park actually remembers a lot of this. He's told me a lot of stories. It's great stuff. But this is symbolic of that meeting. You can see, you know, the protege and the proud mentor standing side by side at the beach in South Africa. What a wonderful cover. And that's basically it. I know I've raved on just about a few little covers, but man, aren't they fantastic covers, you know? All of these 5 beautiful covers of Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know, easily some of the best magazines that I own in the condition that they are, in pristine condition. Thank you very much, Jeff Linton, for sending these to me. I highly appreciate it. We've actually swapped mags, so I'm sending him also a bunch. You know, it's great. So I do hope you have enjoyed this, I guess now prolonged video on 5 simple mags, but there's so much to talk about these. You know, I haven't even opened them yet, but can you imagine the information that lies within? Yes, it's wonderful magazines from the golden era of none other than the greatest Arnold Schwarzenegger. Do hope you have enjoyed watching this video. If you have, please give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't to the Golden Era Bookworm. Leave me your comments, and thank you for watching. If you want to support my channel and my acquisition of these phenomenal magazines from the golden era, please show your support by becoming a patron. Visit my website for out-of-print books and courses. If you wish to make a financial donation, please do so, especially because I have a campaign. I have a campaign to create a museum exhibition on the golden era of bodybuilding, and I'm trying my best to try and acquire some finances to be able to bring this to everybody, so that everybody can actually come into the museum and see you know, these wonderful photos and trophies of all these champions, the equipment they used to use, all this stuff. I'm trying really hard to do this, but it can only be done, you know, money talks, right? So it's the only way. If you so desire, please check out the details in the description below on my museum exhibition campaign on the golden era of bodybuilding. Right, I think I've yapped on enough. If you want to get in touch, collaborate, pass on your bodybuilding mags or relics, please do so via email. Hope you enjoyed the video. Once again, this is the Golden Era Bookworm saying bye for now.
To take full advantage of my collaboration with Old School Labs, please visit their website and choose from their marvelous range of supplements using my code BOOKWORM12. And for an entertaining look at the history of bodybuilding's supplement industry, I would highly recommend watching Subs the Movie, which I have collaborated in, available at Amazon Prime and Vimeo.